Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to Terraform section. So today we are going to look into what exactly S3 backend is and why do we need that. Okay, so let's consider a scenario that you have written a code and let's say this is the TF file you have written, and once the TF file you written, you do the apply, you do the plan, init apply, all those things you do, and then one terraform.tf state file will get generated, like let's say state file, and there will be certain contents within the state file regarding what you have created. Let's say you create a C2 instance, so all the C2 instance information will appear over here, like public IP, private IP, DNS, and key pair, and many other things. Okay, let's say this is one particular user, okay, who is trying to create one more EC2 instance on the same configuration file. So let's say if this user try to create, then again state file will get updated, correct? At the same time, other user try to delete certain objects, okay, at the same time in parallel, I mean to say. Okay, so in that case as well, state file will get updated, because every time you create any resource or delete any resource, your state file will be updated. Okay, so if the first person tries, and let's say it takes almost 10 seconds, and within that 10 seconds second person also tries to do plan or apply, in that case this second person should not be able to do so, because first person का task अभी भी चल रहा है. ठीक है, so what this Terraform does in this case, as soon as first person tries to access or first person tries to do Terraform plan or Terraform apply, it generates the log file. Okay, okay, for that period of time only. Okay, let's say Terraform plan and apply is taking, let's say, 10 seconds. So for the 10 seconds log file will get generated, and now if another person tries to do the plan or apply on the same within the same 10 seconds, in that case he won't be able to do so, because there will be the log file and he will get an error that some other person have already locked that file or have a lock, because this should be the correct way. Otherwise anyone can do anything, even though like previous person का task चल रहा है, so other person should not be able to interrupt that. Okay, so for that matter log file will get generated. I will show you how it will generated. Okay, so we have this provider, means we have this provider block. Within, we are using the Terraform provider block with AWS as a provider, and we are doing within the Mumbai region. Okay, means we are trying to create a resource within the Mumbai region. Right now is c2.tf, one tf configuration file we are having. Let's try to create it. Okay, what I will do, I'll just simply make use of this key pair. So it means I'm trying to create a key pair over here, and that's all, nothing else we have. Okay, and just for time being I'll make use of this Terraform. ओके, यहाँ से नहीं दिखेगा, ठीक है, ठीक है, Terraform plan. Okay, so once I will hit Terraform plan, you just look into this section. Okay, there will be one file generated automatically. Okay, you can see this log.info got generated automatically with some ID and what operation we are doing and at which date it was created and along with the time. Okay, so this terraform dot state. Okay, now this file got deleted, so that's where it's not appearing over here, and it's on the red sign, red color as well over here. Okay, so this state file, like dot tfstate.log.info. This is the file which will get generated automatically whenever you will do plan. So jab tak plan is in progress, that file will exist. Once the plan output got finished successfully, you can see this plan output got finished successfully, and after that this file gets deleted automatically. So this is how Terraform internally locks it. Okay, let's see if 2% try to do at the same time, so what error we will get. Okay, now you know the log file will get generated, and now let's see. So I'm opening two terminal over here. Let's go to the same location, users admin desktop tf code. Okay, so all our files are present at this location, like provider block, ec2 block, and this plugin block. Okay, I am also at the same location, tf code. So now let's do terraform plan from this location, and at the same time run it from the another terminal. Okay, it is behaving like a two persons are doing the terraform plan at the same time. Okay, so फर्स्ट पर्सन का टेराफॉर्म जिस यहाँ से मैंने टेराफॉर्म प्लान चलाया था, now automatically it is going to generate a log file, and इसका प्लान का आउटपुट I will get it. But second person when try to do the terraform plan, it is saying error acquiring the state log, because state log was generated, so the log file was already there, so that's where it is unable to get the log. So always plan and apply will lock the state file first, and then it will do rest of the task. Okay, otherwise anyone can do anything at any particular time. Okay, that should not happen. जब तक first person का task खत्म नहीं होता, तब तक second person should not update that state file. So that's where always Terraform plan and apply is going to log the state file. Okay, so this is the important thing to understand. Now let's consider one more scenario, that this is the state file again. Okay, and this state file is present on my personal laptop. Okay, the way I'm working on my local desktop, so this is the laptop one, let's say, and this is the state file which got generated at my end. Okay, and there are certain tf files which I have created, like provider.tf, ec2.tf, and other tfs. Okay, and I have created a resource, and state file got generated in the laptop one. Then my colleague also want to work on the same resources. Okay, so in that case, this is, let's say, laptop 2, my colleague's laptop, and I'll share with him about the provider.tf and state file provider and ec2.tf. Okay, these two files I'll share because this is the important files for me. These are the configuration files, right? ec2.tf is a configuration file, provider.tf is a configuration file. So these things I will provide to my colleague. Then what he will do, once he will get that file, he will do Terraform init to initialize this. I mean, download all the plugins, Terraform plan he will do, and then he will do Terraform apply. Okay, but what will happen if person 1 will do Terraform plan? He will get infrastructure is up to date. Let's say whatever resources that needs to be created, that is already present, means it was already created earlier. So whenever this person will do Terraform plan, then this person will get infrastructure is already up to date. But as the state file is missing over here, state file is not provided to the second person. Okay, let's say this state file doesn't exist over here. So in that case, whenever he will do Terraform plan, इसको output आएगा कि one resource to be added, because always whenever Terraform is doing the plan, in that case it is going to refer the state file, and if state file doesn't present over there, it means a resource will get added at that point. Okay, so this is like inconsistent things. So what is the option over here, person 1 should share state file as well. Okay, but let's say person 1 ने state file share किया. Okay, then second person when do Terraform plan, he will get a proper output. Okay, then let's say person 2 ने कुछ Terraform कॉन्फ़िगरेशन के अंदर एक नया रिसोर्स का ब्लॉक लिखा एंड ही अप्लाइड. सो अगेन यहाँ पे नया TF फाइल आ जाएगा, राइट? Then this TF file will be old now. Okay, again he will have to share the TF file to the laptop one, and let's say there are 100 laptops or 100 users. In that case, the state file will not be consistent. Okay, so it's always good practice to keep the state file not in the laptop, means not into the local desktop or local machine. It should keep, you should keep the state file into the remote repositories or maybe central repository, not present within the laptop. Okay, so that always anyone try to do Terraform plan or Terraform apply, the state file will be present within this central location, so that we don't have to share state file to anyone else, and there will be one consistent state file. Okay, and we can achieve this with the help of S3 bucket. Okay, we have already seen uh, S3 in the section in case of AWS. Okay, in the AWS section, so we can make use of the S3 bucket to store the state file within it. Okay, but just wanted to know, do you guys understood the scenario why we are doing so? So let's say if you are working within the team, so which is having almost 4 to 5 members, definitely we will need some central repository. Okay, and there are certain drawbacks of making use of this local. As of now, you will see like each and every state file was getting generated at this location, means जहाँ से मैं Terraform apply and plan चला रहा था, वहीं पे state file generate हो रही थी. That is, we call that location as a local, uh, we can consider कि local desktop के अंदर और local repository के अंदर uh, our state file was getting created, but we need a state file within the remote repository, not within the local repository. Because let's say local repository के अंदर है, मेरा hard disk crash हो गया, या फिर if that file gets deleted, then there is no other way that I can recover that file. So that's where if I keep within this S3 bucket as a uh, remote repository, then in that case I can make use of the replication option within the S3 bucket, so that let's say Mumbai region के अंदर की S3 bucket delete भी हो जाती है, so I will write a rule that every time the bucket gets updated or changed, modified, in that case it should get replicated to some other region. So I can have backup of this bucket as well in other regions, so that यहाँ मुंबई रीजन से डिलीट भी हो जाता है, so we don't worry about it. We will always have a backup or a replication thing in other regions. So this is the good option to make use of the S3 bucket. Okay, so now we have seen the locking of our state file, why locking is important. Now we will make use of the S3 bucket as a remote backend. Okay, we call it as a remote backend because now we are not storing within the local repository, or we are storing within the remote. So this thing in AWS, sorry, in AWS, not in AWS, in Terraform language, we call it as a remote backend. Okay, so let's see how we can do so. So we just have to update one block over here. That is nothing but this. I'll show you. Meanwhile, I will just log into AWS account. So we are within the Mumbai region. Let's go to S3. Okay, as of now I don't have any buckets over here. If I just show you, this is like no buckets within the Mumbai region, means within any of the region. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a file. or you can write within the provider section as well. It's up to you. You can create a new file or you can write it over here as well. Okay, so now let's say we are using one more Terraform block, that is nothing but a backend S3. S3 is nothing but a bucket that we are trying to use. So what is going to happen from now onwards? All my state file is going to get stored within the S3 bucket. So what will be the bucket name? It's up to you what bucket name you need. So let's say I'll just Subodh Dere 1277, anything that of that kind. Okay, and let's say this is belong to, let's say, dev environment, and I want it to be into the Mumbai region. Okay, so this bucket will get automatically created in the Mumbai region, and whenever our state file will get generated, that key is nothing but a folder will get created a dev, and within that terraform.tf state will get generated. Okay, so it means what name you want to keep to your state file and in which folder, because the thing is sometimes we want a dev environment state file at different location, a prod environment state file at different location, so we can create a single bucket and have different folders and their respective state file over here. Okay, so as of now I don't have any bucket over here, so let's try to do Terraform plan. Now you will see there are certain instructions given to you. Okay, backend initialization required. Okay, as soon as you initialize, as soon as you write the backend related code, so this plan means I have updated my backend related code. Okay, so this plan will not take the local state file. Okay, so it will always say first of all you need to reconfigure your backend. Okay, अभी तक अपन local repository का state file use कर रहे थे, but now onwards I have defined this code, so it means my plan and apply will not take the local state file, it will take the remote state file present within the S3. So I need to provide that information to my plan and apply. For that matter, please run Terraform init. Okay, so let's run Terraform init. Okay, so now you are getting an error, failed to get existing workspace, S3 bucket does not exist. Okay, so over here what is the case, we are defining one block over here that this is I want to write, or my state file will get created within this bucket, but as I said, I think I said earlier that this will get created automatically, but my bad, this is not getting created, this will not get created automatically, you have to create at your end before running this code. Okay, so what I will do, I don't have any bucket, let's go ahead and create a bucket. That's all, create it. Okay, so my bucket got created, let's run init one more time. Okay, successfully configured the backend S3. Okay, this backend is nothing but a remote location. Okay, Terraform will automatically use this backend unless the backend configuration changes. Okay, so now our Terraform is always going to make use of this S3 backend. Let's look into our this bucket. So as of now there is nothing within this bucket. Okay, this bucket is kind of a blank bucket as of now. Okay, let me refresh it. That's okay. Now let's go ahead and do Terraform plan, or let's do apply directly, because apply internally is going to show you a plan. Okay, so one resource will get added. Okay, that is okay for me because I have written the code of my AWS key pair. So key pair will get generated, that is fine for me. Okay, as soon as I have generated, as soon as I press enter yes, and it has created a key pair, then you will not see state file at this location. In earlier case, each and every state file was generating at this location only. Okay, but now we are using a remote or backend S3. Okay, in that case my state file will get generated within the bucket. So let's check it out. So when dev folder got created, as I mentioned earlier, let me explain with the code again. You can see one dev folder got created, and within that a terraform.tf state will be present. Okay, so this is the terraform.tf state, and this is the state file which we have generated, means which Terraform have generated automatically, and the content of the state file will still remain the same. I can open this state file, and this state file will have the same content, like जो भी local में generate होने के बाद content दिख रहा था, same content you will see over here as well. So content will not change, only the location will change. Okay, so this is how you can make use of the S3 as a backend to store the state file. Okay, and it's always good practice to use the versioning as well. Okay, bucket versioning. Why do we need? Because every time a state file will get modified, it will have the previous version of the bucket as well. Okay, let me explain what I meant to say. Now this is the first one. Now let me create one more key pair. And let's run Terraform apply, have an auto approve. So this will again now this is not going to generate a state file, this is just going to modify the state file. Okay, because state file is already present within this S3 backend, and now this is just going to update that state file. So let's see that earlier there was one resource, now I have added one more resource, so total there are two resources. Okay, so let's look into that file one more time, whether it has updated or not. Let's open that file. Now you will see there are two resources, one is the deployer 1 and second is the deployer. Okay, simply, and we have enabled the versioning over here. So now you can see this is the previous version of the file, this is the latest version of the file. So always, let's say every time this state file will get updated, the previous will get versioned automatically, and the newer will get up, we will get a newer state file. So this will means it will be easy for us to backtrack the changes. मतलब state file को देख के I can find it out which all resources were created. Okay, let's say आज का state file is this, कल का state file is this, so I can just compare it, these two content of the state file, and uh, I can just see which all changes are there, and maybe the original state file let's get deleted. In that case I can just recover it from the previous version as well. So this is mainly for the accidental deletion, and if you want to protect more to this bucket, in that case you just where is that management, you can have the replication rule, means whatever the content is present within this bucket, you can just have a replication rule, like, and make sure like all the objects within this bucket you want to move to the some other bucket, maybe in some other region. Okay, so so that if the Mumbai region bucket gets deleted, then the other region bucket will be come into the picture. So that is the benefits, because S3 is having lots of benefits, and definitely there are other backends as well, like GitHub. I can make use of the GitHub as well to store my S3, to store my state file. There are other backends, but out of all those, S3 is one of the best backend that we can make use of to store our state file. Okay, now whenever I want to share the code to with my colleagues. In that case, definitely I just need to store this ec2.tf and provider.tf. I don't need to share anything else, and state file is already at a central location, so that also I don't have to worry about it. So let's say if I share these two files and he have updated certain things, so again state file will get modified. So there will be only one state file and it will be the consistent all around the team members. Understood the topic? There is one shortcoming of this, okay? Means what shortcoming is that it doesn't lock the state file automatically. Earlier we have seen the locking of the state file, right? We were getting this kind of error when we were making use of the local state file, okay? But let's see now, this now we are making use of S3 backend for keeping the state file. So what is the output of this plan and this plan? Let's see. Means again I am just checking the locking functionality whether it is provided by the S3 bucket or not, because locking functionality is also very much important, and by default S3 don't provide any locking functionality. That's where you are getting output for the second user and first user as well. You are not getting any error related to the locking. In earlier local के लिए we were getting an error, which is the perfect thing for us. But S3 by default doesn't provide any locking functionality. For that matter, we have to create a table within the DynamoDB, and then definitely we can achieve that, but we have to take one extra step for that matter. What we have to do? Let's go to the DynamoDB, which is the NoSQL database. Okay, we don't need to know the way we have, like you worked on the SQL, Oracle, MySQL. It is a different kind of database. Okay, we call it as a NoSQL database. So for that matter, we just have to create a table with any name. Okay, so my log S3. So this can be any name. Only thing is like partition key must be unique, and that should be log ID. Okay, this partition key must be log ID. This should not be anything else. Just create this and get this, whatever the table we have created, just copy that name. It's now available, and let's provide this a DynamoDB table equal to that table name. Okay, so I have added one more parameter over here, DynamoDB table equal to name of the table. So what it is going to do, whenever you will do a Terraform plan and apply, a log ID will get generated within this table. Okay, and this is going to lock our state file. So जैसे अपने को पहले error आ रहा था, like both users are doing plan at the same time. In that case, second user was getting some issue related to acquiring the state lock. Same thing we can achieve, and with the help of this DynamoDB table. So what we will do, we will just do Terraform plan for time being, just for checking purpose. Okay, so let's run Terraform plan from. Okay, so every time you do any change within the backend, you have to run the Terraform init, because it is going to initialize it one more time. Okay, so again I'm getting some error backend configuration change. Okay, so I have modified the configuration of the backend, means I have added the DynamoDB table. So I need to just reconfigure it, nothing else. Okay, each and every hint you will get over here only. Okay, it's not like you need to keep in mind, only you just need to read this properly, and accordingly you will get a proper command to use. Now we have reconfigured it, matlab whatever the changes we have done, that we have pushed to S3 bucket successfully. Now let's do plan from this location and simultaneously from this location as well. So now you can see second user now getting the error acquiring the state lock. Earlier he was not getting an error. So with the help of just a DynamoDB table, definitely a state file will get locked and no one can modify it at that particular time. Okay, how this is going to lock it? Okay, we have to check it quickly. I have just ran the plan one more time. Let's go to this table and let's go to indexes, not indexes. Okay, item count summary, it is this table capacity matrix. I think plan got finished by now. I'll just do apply. Apply is also going to I meant to say log the state file. Okay, because plan apply always plays with the state file. So whenever you do apply, it is always going to I meant to say acquire a lock over the state file. And where is that? Items index. Okay, partition key is our lock ID. There is one extra information. Okay, so what will happen over here, wherever you will do the apply, and where is that, plan and apply. Okay, for that matter, what we can do, let's modify our code so that apply will be in progress. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just delete this thing just so that apply, whenever I will do the Terraform apply, so I will not get infrastructure is up to date output, and it will just wait for me to provide yes or no, because I have deleted the code from our configuration. So now it is waiting for me for yes or no. So जब तक मैं yes or no provide नहीं करता, तब तक मेरा state file will always be in the lock condition. And meanwhile we can just see if I can show you something over here. Otherwise we can just check it out at later on. This इसके अंदर क्या entry generate होता है उतना important नहीं है. Important is that you should know that we need to make use of this on the DynamoDB table for acquiring the state lock. That is the only thing we need to know. If I try to scan it, there should be one. Okay, so let's scan it again. So now there are total 2 entries over here. So one line, or you can say one entry, will get added within this DynamoDB table, and till the time you have that entry within that, your state file will be locked. Let's say I will say no over here, and I came out of this Terraform apply command, and automatically this is going to release the state lock. Okay, so this is how we can manage, or we can play with our state file. Okay, this is how you can push your state file to your S3 bucket. But let's say you want to look into that state file, so always you have to go to your S3 bucket. Okay, uh, okay, then you have to just open this likewise, and you can see the content of your state file. But this is not a good practice that always you have to go to AWS console, look for the S3 bucket and open the state file. This is not a recommended approach. So what recommended approach is that if you don't have state file locally, then you have to make use of certain state commands. Okay, let me फिर से ऐड कर देता हूँ so that I will get infrastructure as up to date. So which all state commands we have? If you do Terraform state and hit enter, you have sub commands over here. Okay, This Terraform state command is only to play with a state file. Okay, it is going to list all the resources within the state file. It is going to pull your state file from remote location to the local location just to view the content. You can push your state file from local to the remote as well. So let's do step by step. If I do list, in that case I will get two resources. That okay, this is one key pair, this is the another key pair I have created. Okay, and this information is coming all over from the remote state file which is present within the S3. So these two things I have created, so and the information regarding this is present within the state file. So that's why we are getting these two entries. You will be looking into this AWS keeper.deployer, AWS keeper.deployer1. So these two resources I have created. If you want to see in great detail about this resource, like what is the private which key we have used, so for that matter just you have to just make use of the show command. Show command is to get a detailed information about any of the resource, and each and everything it is fetching from a state file. So you don't have to go into the AWS console within the S3 bucket and look for that. Okay, without doing so as well, from backend only you can do so. So you will be getting this much output, and this each and every output we are getting from this state file. Okay, so same like public key क्या है, then उसके बाद this entire public key. So will this is the same thing over here. Okay, so for getting more information, so show is our command. Pull is nothing but pull the current state file and output to the standard output. मतलब जो भी state file यहाँ पे है, if you want to get that entire state file on the local, just for looking into it. Okay, so for that matter pull is the command. So this is going to it is not going to just show you the content. It is not going to create any file, nothing else. This is just to show you the content of our state file. Okay, you can save this file within, means you can save this content within a file, but that is mainly for checking purpose. That file will not be useful. Always the remote state file will be in use if you are making use of the backend S3. Then we have, let's say, which all thing, Terraform state. We have, let's say, rm remove the instance from the state. Let's say if you want to remove any of the resource from your state file, okay, you can do so by rm. Means now we have two resources. One is the deployer, AWS keeper deployer, and AWS keeper deployer one. We have two things. Let's say I want to delete the second resource from a state file. Okay, state file से delete करना है, not in reality. Okay, in that case you can make use of this rm. Okay, so for that matter just list the things first which you want to delete. Okay, so now we have two, and then you want to remove the second, let's say. In that case just hit enter. So all the contents regarding this second resource will get deleted from your state file. Okay, in reality AWS के अंदर this resource is still present, but let's say if you think that I don't want to manage this key pair from now onwards, in that case definitely you can just remove that thing from the state file. And if I just refresh this, okay, there is, okay, we need to recheck the same thing. Open it. So now we have only one resource. So this is how you can like delete the things as well, or you can rename the things as well. Just मैंने AWS keeper.deployer1 है, and if you want to make it AWS keeper.deployer2, local name आपको change करना है, so you can do so with the help of move. So as of now you just keep in mind, wherever you want to play with a state file, Okay, either that state file present over the local repository or over the remote repository. It's not good practice to manually modify that state file. Okay, it's always good practice to use the state commands to modify the content of the state file. And this is mainly to play with the state file, nothing. स्टेट फाइल के अंदर का कंटेंट देखना है, ऑब्जेक्ट को रिमूव करना है, लिस्ट करना है, पुल करना है स्टेट फाइल विच इज प्रेजेंट ऑन द S3 bucket. So all those uh, things we can perform with the help of state commands. Understood this much? Now let's look into the second topic of our this section, that is nothing but the import. Okay, for that matter, I don't need my S3 backend. Now I will again switch back to the local desktop, I mean a local state file. Okay, so for that matter, what I have to do, I'll just remove the code regarding, okay, I'll just delete everything first, like Terraform destroy, so that all the resources will get deleted. And again I will switch back to my local state file. Okay, so one resource got destroyed successfully, and that's all. There were two resources actually, but one, we have already removed the this deployer one from our state file, so there was remaining was only one, so one got destroyed, so that is okay for us. So now let's switch back to the original one. For that matter, we just have to uh, delete this backend related code, and as soon as you do any changes, you have to do the init again, init reconfigure. Okay, now that S3 bucket is no longer useful for us. Always our state, all those things will get created at our local desktop. Okay, so let me just check it out, the which all key pairs we are having. Let me delete this manually. Okay, fine. So I don't have any key pair, any EC2 instance we are having. I don't have any EC2 instance in the Mumbai region. Okay, now so now onwards our state file will get created at this location only, at the local location only. Okay, let's consider that I'm not aware about the Terraform. Okay, in that case, if I have to create my EC2 instance, then manually I will create it. Okay, maybe I'll give it a name as a tag with web. I will create my EC2 instance from this AMID t2.micro as the key pair, and then let's say I don't have any key pair name, then in that case maybe I'll just create a key pair. Okay, let's create a key pair. Let's, this is the private key got downloaded at my end, so I'm making use of this demo Mumbai key pair, and I'll keep rest of the things as it is. Okay, so this is how I can create my EC2 instance manually. And let's say EC2 instance created manually, and this is the EC2 instance with tags equal to tags में क्या है, name equal to web, And in the details section, this is the instance ID, private key, private IP, public IP, and other details with this security group. Okay, so this is the information that we have for this EC2 instance. Now let's consider any EC2 instance or any resource that is created manually from a console. If you want to manage with the Terraform, okay, this resource is not created via Terraform, so definitely Terraform cannot manage it. Manage करना मतलब Terraform से create करना, delete करना, update करना, all those things. But resource, this instance was created manually without Terraform, so Terraform directly cannot manage this resource. For that matter, we have to make use of the import. Import is going to help us in managing the resources which were not created by Terraform. Okay, how we can do so? Let me show you with the practical to get a better understanding. What we have to do, the way we used to write the code earlier regarding the resource EC2 section, okay, जैसे अपन EC2 सेक्शन का कोड लिख रहे थे वैसे ही अपने को EC2 सेक्शन का कोड लिखना है. Okay, and we just have to provide the correct information, like the EC2 instance which we have created manually, created from which AMI. Okay, so it was created from this AMI ending with 08F. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just copy paste this information, and this is the same AMI. Okay, AMI hyphen ending with 08F. This instance is created of from instance type t2.micro, so update the same thing. Then which key pair we have make use of demo. In short, we are doing the reverse thing. Whatever the things created manually, we are just mapping all those details within the Terraform configuration. Which security group it is assigned to, that information you will get from the security tab. Copy this security group ID, paste it over here. And what tag is provided? Tag is provided as name equal to web. Okay, tag section name equal to web. Okay, so this is the information block we have generated or we have created manually, and this is nothing but a mapping of the configuration with a real time resource. जो रियल टाइम रिसोर्स अभी अप एंड रनिंग है उसके रिगार्डिंग उसके साथ अपन ने मैप किया है अपना ये सारा का सारा कॉन्फ़िगरेशन. ओके, at this location we don't have state file and anything. State file नहीं है मतलब we are not managing this resource via Terraform as of now. Okay, so for that matter what we have to do, if you want to manage your resource, this can be anything. Let's say is my EC2, this can be anything. This is the local name, so we have to just run this command terraform import. किसके अंदर import करना है मतलब I have aligned my resources EC2 resource with this block. Okay, so I need to import within this my EC2, and which instance or which resource I have to import. For that matter, just copy paste the instance ID, nothing else. Instance ID is a unique ID for all the resources, all the EC2 instances. Okay, so this is the instance ID got generated, so I just have to make use of this. So let me cut this thing. Okay, I'll make use of this only. Okay, so okay, we have modified the uh, backend, so I need to use the reconfigure. maybe I may need to use this. Let's check it out. Migrate state. Okay, let me explain the difference between what is reconfigure and what is migrate state. Okay, first of all, let's see if things are working fine for us or not. So now Terraform import is in progress. Okay, the thing is reconfigure is nothing but, let's say you are making use of S3 as a backend. Okay, and within that S3 backend you are doing certain changes, like we have added the DynamoDB table within the same backend. So that is nothing but a reconfiguration. Okay, and migrate state is nothing but migrating the state file from one repository to the another repository. So previous to that our repository was remote repository S3. Okay, and now we want our state file to be created within the local repository. So now we are migrating, or we are just changing the destination of our state file from remote to the local. So that is how we can call it as a migrating the state file. So that's why reconfigure is just to configure or just to modify the same backend multiple times. Then you have to do the reconfigure, but you have to, if you want to come back from state from a remote backend to the local backend, in that case you have to make use of the migrate state. And after migrating the state, if you see, the Terraform import got successful over here. What exactly it is saying: import prepared, then preparing this for import the resource that were imported. This message is important. Okay, the resources that were imported are shown above. These resources are now in your Terraform state and will henceforth be managed by the Terraform. Okay, so it's a clear-cut message to us that now onwards you can manage this resource via Terraform. Why? Because each and every information about that resource is now present within the state file. I'll show you the state file. At this location state file got generated, and this state file is having the entire information. जैसे आप EC2 instance create करने के बाद state file में जो content दिखता है, same content you will see over here as well. And as we have mapped via instance ID, so each and every information about the private IP, public IP and DNS, each and every information will get mapped over here. And now onwards you can destroy this EC2 instance, or you can modify this EC2 instance via Terraform only, without even going with to the AWS console. So import में आपको इतना ही याद रखना है कि let's say any resource got created without Terraform, and now if you want to manage that resource with Terraform, you have to make use of the import. And this is how you can manage it. Means you have to first of all generate a block which is similar to that resource. Okay, like कौन से AMI से है, key pair, instance type or security group tags. And once you are done with this mapping, then just run the Terraform import command to import it. This state file is having information about the private IP that is ending with 219. So same private IP I will be able to see over here as well, ending with 219. So that's all about the import from my end. I hope you understood the basic concept of this import. Let's say Abhi, I have to delete this resource. So there is two ways, like I can just click make use of this instance status terminate, but as of now I have created this manually, but now I have figured it out the way with the help of import that I can manage it via Terraform. So let's destroy that. So the instance was created manually, but still I can manage it via Terraform because I have imported the configuration and everything over here within the state file. Okay, so once I will do Terraform destroy, the same resource will get destroyed in next 30 seconds. Okay, so 1 to destroy, and destroy is in progress. Okay, this is now into the shutting down condition, and it will go into the terminated as well in soon. So that's all. We have seen almost 3 to 4 topics today, almost state lock, S3 backend, and import. So I hope you guys understood when to use which option and what is the benefit and importance of each and everything. Thank you so much for joining. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.